lecture number 29, and here we will discuss about derived distribution. And derived distribution is really very interesting and fascinating technique to increase the class size of distribution. That means as much as you know about function, and as much as you know about change of transformation, and as much as, while performing any kind of transformation, you come up with some kind of change of Jacobian. That Jacobian is playing very, one factor is coming in the transform version or derived version, that we are calling it Jacobian. So Jacobian is one kind of balancing thing. So that term also very well explained in math, when you might have seen that, or just if you haven't seen, you can look into that Thomas and Finney book. Here in that book, you can get a very good visualization of Jacobian of transformation there in that book. So my suggestion would be that again go and relook that concept, and it will definitely help to understand derived distribution in a better perspective. So here we are talking about derived distribution for continuous random variable. For discrete, we had already discussed, that one is just dealing with summation kind of approach. Here we'll discuss about derived distribution for continuous random variable. That one is actual feeling you of calculus, you will see it here while deriving distribution from the existing one. So coming to content of today's lecture, I would like to discuss about first derived distribution, and there would be various examples, and if time permit, then I will go to discuss about jointly continuous random variable. That means we have to further go to cover joint occurrence of many what variables, or many kind of event, joint occurrence of uh, events. Okay, joint events simply we would like to discuss. So those things, and later that means we are just at the end of this module. After that we will go to next module. So coming to derived distribution, it is really interesting from the perspective of application. Is that suppose you are at hand, you are having distribution x, and what does it mean? If distribution x is known to you, that means you know the probability density function of that distribution f of x. You know both things. Okay, you know what are the observed value of x and what is the distribution, that one is given by probability density function. Both thing you know. Now what we do, we are having x at hand. With the help of x, we try to define several function of x. It may be x square, it may be a square root of x, it may be log x, it may be anything, any kind of function. So try to define any kind of function of this given random variable, and we are calling this one y is a function of x. So again, y, what it is a function of x. So y happens to be a function of a random variable, and hence y is again a random variable. Now next job is that here remember that x is continuous random variable. That's why we have taken pdf. X is a continuous random variable. Now here we only know the PDF of x only. We don't know the PDF of y. Only information we are having that y is a function of some function of x. Okay, so we need to derive density of y. So delicately we can derive it in two different way. One approach is directly coming from explicit form of the PDF of CDF of y. So what we do, so here the starting point of for deriving probability density function of a derived random variable is that you have to come up with cumulative distribution function of y. That one is very easy to define in term of CDF of x. How we know that if we, no information is given to us regarding the probability density function of y, then simply write the definition of cumulative distribution function of y. What does it say? It says that probability of y up to this a specific value y. So it is talking about probability that y is observing value up to this given y. So this is meaning of cumulative distribution function. So we know this idea. This is all about probability. This one is cumulative distribution function CDF, and this is corresponding probability. It is talking about probability. So forget about here distribution. Here just we second part is second term is just talking about probability. So what we do here, just apply the idea of the y, how it is defined from x. So we are replacing this y by as a function of x. So here the second term it becomes probability that g of x. g of x would be less than equal to y. Now once we converted, so now here we observe random variable x only. Y has been removed. We are expressing in term of x only. So what is happening here? So if suppose g is invertible, very fine. If g is not invertible, definitely then g would be what, piecewise invertible. And invertible, it would be definitely there would be branch wise invertible. Better word, you can say that branch wise invertible. So there is no issue. If you are taking a function g, then g either it would be invertible or branch wise invertible. So that means if function is g is 1 1, g is having 1 1 correspondence, that means it is g. If g is bijective in nature, then easily you can say that g is invertible. If g is not bijective, that then you will face problem. In that case you will get branch wise invertibility. That concept is very much clear. I think it might be discussed in math 1. It is part of math 1, and if you just google it out, you will see a lot. And those again branch wise invertibility you can again find in Thomas and Penny book. Okay, so simply at hand, whether it is this g is bijective or not bijective, don't worry about that. Always find, you can find interval up to certain branch. So I'm talking about interval up to certain branch. So from that perspective you will get idea of invertibility of g, and you will express that this property in term of x only. So this property, it would be x up to g inverse. We are applying g inverse both sides. So you remember that I told that this, if g is not bijective, then you invert branch wise. If g is bijective, then directly you can invert. There would be no any issue. Okay, so this situation is coming. And how you can easily calculate this? Why? Because you are having every information regarding x. You know the probability density function of x, you know about x, so you know the distribution of x. Simply I would like to say that. So this quantity is easily you can calculate it. Okay, and here you can see that the cumulative distribution function of y has been expressed in the term of probability of x, that probability that x is observing value up to g inverse of y. Okay, g inverse of y is one, a specific value of the random variable y is observing. Okay, so here we are coming, that means this thing is known to you. So what is happening, that based on the different nature of this probability density function of x, this probability sometimes it may have explicit form, sometimes it may have implicit form. So when there is an explicit form, then very easy to find density of y. So suppose if one case 1, I am going for case 1. So through example I will explain all these. So case 1, suppose this cumulative distribution function is having explicit form. That means so what we do, we express this cumulative distribution function of y in term of cumulative distribution function of uh, x. So that means we are here through this transformation we had already seen that this cumulative distribution function of y has been expressed as probability that x is observing value up to g inverse of y, g inverse of y. So if it is having explicit form, so definitely what is meaning of this would be some function of call it some function of f of y. F notation I have already taken for density. I should take another notation. Some function of h of y. So it would be h of y, explicit. That means explicit representation of the cumulative distribution function of y we are having. If this is the scenario, then how we can calculate density of y? Don't have to do, we don't have to do much here. We don't have to apply Jacobian directly. What you do, differentiate the corresponding cumulative distribution function and get the your derived distribution. Easily you can get, just you need to differentiate the cumulative distribution function. So it looks very simple, but you know that it is very difficult to get explicit form of this cumulative distribution function of derived random variable y. It is not always possible. So sometimes it is possible. Suppose that x is uniform distribution, then you can easily get explicit form of CDF uh, f of y. Okay, but in general it is very difficult. I'm talking about another scenario. That one is very general scenario. It is talking about you don't bother about whether the CDF of y is having explicit form of not. So what is uh, what is uh, what you do here? It is very simple that express the CDF of y in term of CDF of x. So how we are expressing? We are expressing this one again. This is the backbone of doing all those competition. So what we do here, we had already seen that the CDF of y is what? It is talking about probability up to no, probability up to x is observing value up to g inverse of y, g inverse of y. So what we do here, simply we will apply chain rule in order to get density of y. So we are differentiating both sides. So what will happen? The then if you differentiate, so simply you can say that it is like here we see the chain approach that here x and here y is what? Y is a function of x. So why you can here for each value of x we will observe that y is actually function of x, and we do invertibility of g branch y. So here from here it will imply that x is equal to g inverse y, g inverse of y. So this scenario you can write it like this way, and if you try to write it like this way, you can write it probability that x is observing value, okay, up to x. What is x here? X is uh, g inverse of y. You can write just for notation like this way. So from that representation I'm putting it in bracket just to for understanding purpose I have written it. Otherwise this one is ignorant. Okay. So now we are, so what does it? It is actually density of cumulative distribution function of x for the specific value g inverse. You can write it x, but it is because here we are interested to find density of y, so that's why we will express things in term of y. So this is you can observe that suffix, this suffix is talking about y, this suffix is talking about x. So this one is CDF of x, this one is CDF of y, both are related to each other. Okay, here how it is related. Now next task is what? Our task is to find the density of y. So how we can find the density? Then same universal principle will apply, that in order to find the density of y we have to differentiate the corresponding CDF of y. So we are going to differentiate, but we know, remember that we don't have explicit form of the CDF of y. So what we do, we will apply this relation, and through that we will calculate CDF of y. In that process we need to apply chain rule. That means it would be equal to what? uh, it would be this, we know that CDF of y is equal to CDF of x with this argument. So here we are differentiating with respect to y, but here directly it is y is not coming directly, y is coming as a, what we call it, hidden variable. So we have to apply chain rule. So first we need to differentiate with respect to g inverse of y, this right hand term, and after that we will just write it like this way. It is just the principle of chain rule. G inverse of y, we are differentiating with respect to y. We have replaced here CDF of y with CDF of x with g argument g inverse of y, and you know that here y is coming in secondary in term. So we have to apply the chain rule. So what we do, what does chain rule say? That first differentiate this one with respect to the current argument what is given here, and after that that argument will be differentiated by the this one, primary one. Okay, so that is the approach will come here. So we need to differentiate the CDF of x with respect to G inverse of y. It is just principle of Jacobian of transformation. What we do, same process are applied there in the process of change of transformation. We are differentiating with respect to G inverse of y. This after that what we do, we will differentiate G inverse of y with respect to y. We are differentiating G inverse of y with respect to y. And here we know that density is always non-negative, so we will put, for the sake of simplicity, we will put here modulus term. So here this term, second term, we are calling it Jacobian term, Jacobian of transformation. So through that here, this would be converted into what? It is just talking about differentiation of the CDF of x. So it is nothing, just what is it? Is density of x. It is very much related with density of x. So we are multiplying density of x with corresponding Jacobian of the transformation in order to get the derived distribution, in order to get, that is the process. So in short, if I would like to write it in the precisely, I would like to write it. So if you try to say that what is the relation between this derived distribution and the original distribution given to you, the relation is coming like this way. That means derived distribution is the product of actual distribution with argument G inverse of y times Jacobian of transformation is coming. So I am putting this one in modulus, because we know that Jacobian may be sometime increasing, may be sometime decreasing. So based on that, it may be negative and positive. But we know that density always what it is, negative, positive. So we need to put here modulus sign. Okay, so this is the relation between this original distribution and derived distribution. This we are calling it Jacobian of transformation. It is very important role. This one is only for what single y as a single function of single random variable. If you complicate it, then things would be complicated. Some matrix kind of notation would come. So it is Jacobian. We are calling it Jacobian of transformation. Jacobian of transformation. So all these things we'll discuss in detail in this lecture. So I'm coming to example. If anyone is having any question, you can ask. Otherwise, I'm just going to discuss few example here. So first the example is coming with respect to uniform distribution. That means we are having a random variable x with uniform distribution, and uniform distribution we are taking in unit interval, that 0 1. So this random variable x is uniformly distributed in the interval 0 to 1, like this way. It is taking value 1. It is taking value 1 when x is observing value from the unit interval 0 to 1, and outside the unit interval 0 to 1, x is not observing any value. That means density is 0. Outside the interval, density is 0. That means simply we say that x is not observing any value outside 0 1. So this is the given original distribution, that uniform distribution. Now we will define various derived distribution of this uniformly distributed random variable. So consider x is a uniformly distributed random variable over the interval 0 1, and we are defining a derived random variable of x as a square root of x. So y is a square root of x, and we will find the distribution of y, how it would behave. One thing, remember that while transforming or deriving a new random variable, we have to look into the observed value of y as well. So we know that x is observing value between 0 and 1. We are not bothering about the value of x outside 0 and 0 and 1. Why? Because density would be 0. So simply we say that x is not observing value outside 0 and 1 for this uniformly distributed random variable. So what is happening, that for each x we will see that y is observing value between 0 and 1. It is not like going beyond 0 and 1. So also y is having value y observing value 0 and 1. If you talk about density of y will have positive density between 0 and 1, and outside 0 and 1 it will definitely have zero density. So that is the criteria. So from the definition of this derived function, and directly you can see this relation. Then simply we can say that y takes value between 0 and 1 only. It is not observing value outside 0 1. So we have to derive the derived distribution only in the interval 0 and 1 for y. So how we will derive? We can derive it like this way. Similar approach what I discussed previously. So here what we do? So we are willing to derive distribution of y. So first we will write down the cumulative distribution function of y. It will be defined. It will define probability that y is taking value up to y. Okay. Now we are taking the benefit of this definition of transformation of x to y. So here y is what? It is a square root of x. So we are putting that to in place of y, a square root of x. And remember that this small is talking about a small y is talking about one particular value. So here we will simplify it, and if you simplify, then what we will get? And this probability is talking about the probability in term of x. Okay, this probability that x is observing value up to y square. And remember that here the distribution is given to you, distribution of x is given to you, that one is uniformly distributed. Okay, now if you are having a uniformly distributed random variable, then easily you can find CDF of x. So what would be CDF of x? It is very easy to find. How you find CDF of x? We know that x is observing value between 0 to 1. So f of x would have, if you talk about x is less than 0, then definitely the CDF would be 0. If x is greater than 1, then definitely CDF would be 1. So variability of CDF you will observe only where between 0 and 1. So we have to find the explicit form of CDF between 0 and 1. So we need to integrate x. That means intentionally we are taking x between 0 and 1. That means we are integrating this corresponding probability density function from 0 to x, where x is less than 1. Simply we can put it like this way. And what is the density? Density is 1. In this interval, density is 1. So if you integrate it like this way, it doesn't look like x. Okay. Okay. So if you integrate, very simple integration is coming, it is f of x, linear function, linear function of the observed value of the random variable. So here density is coming as a linear function when x is from the interval 0 to 1. Then this is the scenario. Okay, this is the scenario. So here that's way we are getting here, it is talking about what the same cumulative distribution function at y square. So simply argument will come out here. You can say that argument is coming out, so that's y square. So easily we can see that the cumulative distribution function of y is having explicit form y square. So we can go for first case, first approach through which you can easily calculate derived distribution of y. So that means just differentiate this corresponding CDF and get the derived distribution. Here we know that CDF of y is explicitly derived. So easily we can get PDF of y. How? By differentiating. So what is differentiation of y square? It is 2y. So f of y equal to 2y. It is the derived distribution of this new random variable y, which is what? Square root of x. Now I will talk about another approach that suppose we are not, it is not known to us. We don't know about these two part. Okay, we don't know. And these two terms we don't know. We are just coming to this part only. Okay, so for that means there is an implicit representation of what CDF of y. So if we are having such kind of scenario, then how we can calculate derived distribution of y? So we can calculate it through Jacobian approach. So here we can calculate like this way. Again we will go to define PDF of y as a derivative of CDF of y. So we are differentiating it. Then after we are applying the relation of what? CDF of y and CDF of x. What was the relation? So relation we had already expressed. So if you are facing any problem, you can look it into here. So this is the relation. So this one we can say that if you simplify, so what is this? It is actually define probability in term of the random variable x. So it is talking about CDF of x with argument y square. Argument is here y square. Okay. So that's the same concept we have applied here. So derivative of that CDF of y, just you replace it by CDF of x, like in term of this way. Okay, after that apply chain rule. First we need to integrate differentiate with respect to this argument a. Okay, after that we will differentiate the argument itself with the original that variable, what is original variable. So that, so this one is what Jacobian part. So from what is the differentiation of CDF of x, that uniformly distribution with respect to corresponding value? It is what coming as equal to x. So if you differentiate this one, then it will what? It will give the PDF, probability density function of x. That one is 1. So that's why differentiation of this one is 1. And what is the differentiation of Jacobian part? It is what? We are differentiating y square with respect to y, so 2y will come. So here we are getting again same value of the PDF derived distribution, and 2 of y. We are getting 2 of y. Same derivation we are getting what in the case 1. Okay. Now we will go for few more example. Here we are talking about again derived distribution from the uniform distribution. So it is very simple kind of problem. It is related with speed and uh, time time duration. Okay, and very practical kind of problem, you can say it. Even in high school you might have seen such problem, but in a deterministic situation, here it is expressed in term of probabilistic. Okay, that means more robust kind of problem. So problem is coming like this way. John is driving from Boston to New York area, a distance of 180 mile. Distance is given here. Call it S. Okay, S is given here as equal to 180 mile. Okay, his average speed is uniformly distributed between 30 miles to 60 mile per hour. Average speed is given here, which is given. Call it X. Okay, now next problem is coming that what is the probability density function or simply derived distribution of the duration of the tree. That means here what is duration of the trip? Time. Duration, the we are willing to find the distribution of time duration. So call it y. So definitely we know that time is always function of speed, and a speed is what? It is given we represented by x, and total distance is 180 mile. So we are calling y is representing time. So time, that means duration would be 180 by x. This is the relation between x and y. So we can easily see that y is a function of x. That means y has been derived from x, and we know x is uniformly distributed in this interval. So that means we know the distribution of x. So using the distribution of x, we can derive the distribution of y. So how we can derive? So very simple kind of approach. Here I am calling x with the speed, and y equal to g of x as 100 by 180 by x. We are calling it is the duration of the time. Okay, duration of trip. Now we are going to find distribution. How we can find? So we will apply the idea of CDF of y in the similar process. So CDF of y is coming defined as probability that y is observing value up to y. Okay, this. Now here we know that y is what? Y is actually written in term of x. That means y is talking about time duration. So it is 180 by x. So we are replacing y by 180 by x, and after simplification we are seeing this tail probability that y p is observing value, p is such that x is probability that such that x is observing value greater than equal to 180 by y. So this one is tail probability. So we will put in a systematic form that 1 minus probability that x is observing value up to 180. Okay, now if you come to find this explicit form of this one, it is that we know that x is uniformly distributed between 30 to 60. That's where this factor is coming, normalizing factor is coming. And here density is always equal to f of x, like linear function with sub factor, because that time we are defining density between 0 and 1 unit interval, factor would be 1. But here we are defining density between 30 to 60, x is observing value between 30 to 60. Okay, that's where this normalizing factor is coming into the corresponding value argument. So this is the directly we are calling it, this one is the CDF. So we got the explicit representation of CDF of y. So very fine. From the first approach we can easily get density function of y. How? By differentiating this one. So just we do little bit again before going to find density of y, that means derived distribution. We have to find the range of y. What is the, we know that x is observing value between 30 to 60. So just do little bit manipulation here using the relation that y equal to 180 by x, and you will come to see that y is observing value between 3 to 6, 3 to 6 hour. Okay, so that is the approach. It is unit of y is hour, unit of x is mile per hour. Okay, that one is given to you. And now we are trying to find derived distribution of y. How we can find it? From the first approach we are having explicit form of CDF of y. So just differentiate the CDF of y. After differentiation, what we are getting? 6 by y square. This is the derived distribution of y. This is the derived distribution. Now next I will talk about that derived distribution with the help of Jacobian approach. That means suppose you don't know this part, up to this part you don't know, this part. Okay, so what is the relation? So from here you forget about this, so you know about that CDF of y is expressed as 1 minus CDF. This one is what? It is CDF of x. CDF of x, that means we are writing f of f with suffix x with argument 180 by y. So we know this relation. This means this CDF of y is equal to this one. So we will apply that relation, implicit relation, and by differentiating this CDF means we need to differentiate this CDF, and in that process Jacobian factor is coming. So this is the relation, and in this derivation also you can see that derived distribution is equal to 6 by y square. So you can see all these calculations. So here we have expressed all these things here, and so you will get this relation. Okay, now I will take few more problem that we are again it will come from uniform distribution. So actually before that I would like to talk about the visualization of the last problem, how we visualize geometrically how that transformation is happening. So it is coming like this way. So x is what? It is talking about a speed which is uniformly distributed between interval 30 to 60. Uniform distribution we denote it by u and if between 30 to 60. And you know that unit you might be don't never leave that unit terms because it may create problem. So at mind just remember that unit is mile per hour. Okay, and y is the what time duration, and relation between x and y is 180 by x. That one is given to you. So the calculation how we can geometrically visualize it is coming like this way. At hand you are having distribution of x. That means x is observing value uniform distributive speed between 30 to 60, and outside that means x is a speed is not going below 30 and above 30. It is between 30 to 60, but in uniform manner. It is not changing. It is uniform manner between 30 to 60. Okay, uniformly it is between 30 to 60. Okay, so now if you try to find CDF, so easily do integration, and you will see that CDF will have up to 30 CDF will have 0 value, and after 30 CDF will have 1 value. But it is CDF is linear between 30 to 60. You can see that it is linear because it is a constant. PDF is constant between 30 to 60. That's why if you integrate a constant function, what you are getting? You are getting a linear function. So that's why it is linear. Afterward, what you do? Apply the relation between CDF of x and CDF of y. So from CDF of x, you can derive CDF of y. This is the CDF of y through that relation. What I had told that CDF of go to define CDF of y and express that as a what it was equal to 1 minus CDF of x with argument 180 by y. And if you know that here x is uniformly distributed, so you can get one explicit representation of this one, and it is coming like this way. After that, what you do, you differentiate this CDF and you will get back your PDF. Again here x is observing value between 30 to 60, and that transformation I had told that in that process y will observe value only between 3 to 6, through that transformation, the relation between x and y. So you can observe that non-zero PDF of y is between 3 to 6. Outside this interval, y is having 0 PDF. So you got this transformation from here to here, this after from here to here, then here to here. So this is the sketching process of finding derived distribution. So here it is just function of one variable kind of approach. Later you will see more complicated kind of approach, that function of several variable. Okay, so till now we discuss about derived distribution from uniform distribution. I will go for one interesting problem that we are taking any square function. Okay, so x is any random variable. It is not only uniform random variable. X is having any kind of distribution, a continuous distribution. X is a continuous random variable, and we are defining a square function of x. Y is a function of x as a square, x square, y equal to x square, and x is any random variable, and whose PDF we know that that one is known to us. So what will, if you define for any y greater than equal to 0, so how we can define derived, or we can find derived PDF of y. So again we are we are applying same process that we are defining CDF of y. That means it is talking about property that y is observing value up to y, and we are taking benefit of this relation. Y is actually a square root of a square of x, so we are putting that in term of x, a square, x square. So this property is what it is talking about, property that x square is less than equal to y. And we know that if someone is willing to geometrically visualize what does a square talk about, so always you can get relation of this square as a modulus of a square. Both are same, a square of modulus, both are same. Both are same. So same principle we are applying, and through that this property can be converted into that property that modulus of x is less than equal to a square root of y. Okay, this one. Okay, so what we do, if you talk about here, it is all about inequality, solving inequality. Either you solve x square less than equal to y, so it will directly implies that it is what quadratic function. So it will imply that y is observing value between negative of a square root of y and a square root of y, if you simplify, because it is quadratic equation. So how you are solving it? So you can put this one in term of inequality. So in term of inequality, it will imply, it is simple math one problem. You can say that it would be what x minus a square root of y times x plus a square root of y less than equal to 0. If you bring everything left hand side, it is of this scenario, and apply the sine scheme problem. Where is y, a square root of y? It would be here. Where would be a square negative of a square root of y? It would be here. and we are bothering about that these two product would be less than 0. Where these two product would be less than 0? Only in this region. It is coming like this way. Only this region. This we are calling it sign scheme approach. So from the sign scheme approach, you can say that x is observing value between negative of a square root of y and square root of y. So that is the approach. From directly from here you can express, and same story is tell that depicted by modulus of x less than equal to y. Same story it is. You will get it from here. So that's where this probability is equal to this probability, and here we are writing it like this way. We have already expressed that x is, so from here we can say that this probability is what, just difference of this probability and this probability. Okay, and what is this? It is actually talking about CDF of x with argument a square root of y. And what is this one? This one is talking about CDF of x with argument negative of a square root of y. So that means we have expressed CDF of y as a difference of CDF of x for two different argument. Okay, so this is the story we are getting it. So x is known to you, so easily you can get explicit representation of corresponding CDF if it is provided. If x is not normal, you know that if x is normal distribution, then CDF of x it is coming as integration of e to the power minus x square, and there is no explicit representation of that time you will not get explicit representation of CDF of normal random variable. But if it is other than that, generally you will get explicit representation of CDF of x, and hence you can get explicit representation of CDF of y. So you can get your derived PDF. Otherwise, no worry, you proceed with implicit representation and apply this idea of change of this one Jacobian factor is coming. So here there are two terms, so that's where two terms are coming here. We need to differentiate again, and these two Jacobian are coming, and if you simplify, then density of derived density is coming as what, this one is the density of original density times this Jacobian factor plus again original density times this Jacobian factor. This is the way to derive what distribution of a derived random variable. Here you don't bother about what the explicit form of the CDF. You don't bother about explicit form. Just you need to here x would be density of x would be given to you. So easily you can calculate this term and this term. And here I haven't mentioned that x is uniformly distribution. Here x may be any kind of distribution. X is any kind of continuous distribution. Remember that here I am talking about only derived distribution of continuous random variable only. Okay, so regarding any question you can ask, otherwise I'm going to wind up today's lecture. It is already 40